Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to another installment of the Black Bonnet Series live panel. Today, I hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday. First of all, amazing week. Today we have a special guest with us today. Her name's Mariah Lyttle. So she will be the first to introduce herself, and then the rest of the panelists will go ahead and introduce themselves. So Mariah, introduce yourself to the people.
Sorry. I'm Mariah. I'm a 2019 Ithaca College graduate from the musical theater program. I was recently on tour as Celie in The Color Purple, which is by Alice Walker, which we're going to talk about a little bit today, I think. So yeah, that was before the pandemic happened. So right now I'm chilling. I'm a drama teacher at my alma mater, and I have some things coming out very soon. I think they're just going to be like YouTube videos for now, but I'm in talks with a couple people doing some productions and stuff like that. So very soon enough, you can see some more things happening with me involved. So follow me on Instagram.
Amazing. We love to hear it. All right. So next up is Chanel. You can just introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, I'm Chanel, as you all know. I'm not really, I just wanted to say, to be very honest, like I'm here to have fun, and I really wanted to shout out Moyo for my sweater. She bought this for me for my birthday, and it's like the best sweater ever.
All right, Schwartzen, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Schwartzen. You can follow me on Instagram at Schwartzen_828. I have a workout mixtape coming out actually in a couple weeks, so go check that out just before my trip overseas. So that'll be in the works. I'd love to get some support on that. You know, I'm a vlogger, a writer, and here to support Sis Moyo and listen to the facts. So this one was a real good episode as well.
Mm-hmm.
Last but not least, Mr. Brandon Tate.
Hey everybody. Mr. Tate. You already know. Follow me on Instagram at Suai_generous_Tate. Long, I know, don't understand. As of projects coming very soon, working on a lot of things behind the scene right now. And just here to support my family and get ready to talk about some interesting topics.
Amazing. So now that introductions are out the way, let's just jump right into today's discussion. So in the episode, I talked about Hollywood and how Hollywood is basically whitewashed everything, and how there is no longer a depiction of Black women in all tones. It's mostly just fair complexion women or women that have Eurocentric features, either in, if they identify as a Black person or if they identify as an Asian person or just any other minority race. There is no real depiction of either. So first off, let's just get like some first thoughts about the episode. I need to put my phone on silent. Let's just get some first thoughts about the episode. What did you guys think about it? Like about it? Not like about it? Anything? Whoever wants to go first, you can jump right in.
Well, I guess since we're all jumping at once, a lot of it is something that I heard a lot and had conversations about a lot as grown through my 4 years of college, because I was a television radio major. And aspirations of being a TV or TV personality. So regards of just not seeing Black people on TV in the media in general was something that I had to face on a daily basis. There wasn't a lot of people of color that was even in my major or even in my, in my surroundings. So it was just something that was often talked about with the few people of color in my major. And I agreed, put up tons of points, and I definitely love the way that you ended it, inspiring and starting to try to spark some, creativity with a lot of creatives of our generation and trying to create our own outlets, which why we're all here today. So I love that.
Yes. Anyone else?
Yeah, honestly, I really love the video, and it kind of just jumped me back into like high school. I went to a performing arts high school, and although I hate performing, like a lot of my friends, I would go with them to support them for auditions and stuff, because I knew that that's not what I wanted to do. But I still, really enjoyed performing in like the arts and the production part of it. So like hearing them and you, Moyo, as well, how, there's not as many characters, or you have to pick a scene or doing this, or even stories to tell that you want to tell about your story. it would be like, okay, well, we were literally talking about trying to find like a strong Black character or whatever, and it took like so long to try and find it. And I think that we don't always notice that until, you know, it's time, and you're just like sitting there like, oh wow, like I can't really find someone that, if it's not like a Black woman being depicted or a dark-skinned Black woman, it's like they're not a drug addict or somebody's baby mama or something like that.
Yeah, Mariah, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah,
Given that, you know,
right on the
yeah,
right, and you definitely hit the point right there. I think something that I've struggled with, or still struggle with now, and I'm so glad that you brought this up on the platform, is just, it's colorism on stage and it's colorism off stage. And people don't call it like it is. It is colorism. It's not just racism. It's a byproduct of racism. It's a byproduct of discrimination. And so many opportunities I think I have missed out on because of the grade of the color of my skin, which is so unfortunate. You know what I mean? And it's like you said in the video, Black people can fall in love. Black people can do this. Black people can do, like, we shouldn't be subjected to the lesser roles and because of our skin tone. And yet here we are, right? I just got off of tour being someone's servant until halfway through the show. You know what I mean? So like, it's sad because we are worth so much more, and we have so much more to give and so much more stories to tell. But according to this current society and according to this current world, we're not deemed worthy of it, which needs to change. So,
yeah. Let's get into the questions. Okay, so the first question is, why do you think Hollywood deems white stories as worth telling, meanwhile the story of a darker complexioned person is deemed as I said in the episode, culturally niche? What do you guys think about that?
I would start saying, just based off the stereotypes of Black people, no one wants to hear a story about, if it's a love story, people think that is like the Black man is beating the Black woman. So it's going to be another story about domestic violence. If it's a story about a kid going to college, okay, what's the struggle? How they were struggling throughout college, or they were in the ghetto, or a shootout, or something like that. That's what's always attributed to a Black story. And it's like, okay, there's enough of those, or a slave story or something like that. We don't fall in love. We create baby mamas and baby daddies. We don't go off to play sports. We just only do that. If we do create sports, it has to be a biography of how our life was such a struggle. And then we got to where we are. So those are like our stories. And it's like, okay, we have enough of those. Like, let's now tell the stories. And we don't have the opportunity to be seen in Hollywood as a normal person if it's not attached to a struggle. Black people have like this, we can't be successful. It has to be, we had to go through some crazy thing in our lives to end up being like, okay, now you're successful and you're the token Black person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, I feel like I laugh at that idea, especially given that the stereotypes that, you know, Hollywood perpetuates so much are stereotypes that they created. And then they want to wash their hands clean, like, well, we're trying to be diverse. We have a Black girl. She's playing, you know, a CEO. So like, we're trying to be diverse, and it's like, that's not diversity, because the reality is, like I said in the episode, I hate the term diversity because I'm just like, you're giving yourself a pat on the back because you're making your workplace look like the real world. The real world down the street from me are people that don't look like me, people from different ethnicities, different cultures. So congratulations, you got diversity. But the thing is with Hollywood, it's like they created the idea, the stereotype of the mammy, of the Jezebel, of the angry Black woman as a way to absolve themselves of their guilt of slavery. But yet, when people get, you know, when darker actors call them out on that, it's like, yo, you're only casting me in this realm. They're like, well, we're being diverse. We're telling a story. And I'm like, whose story? Because that's not my story. That's the story that you created. All you're doing is just telling your story. You're telling the white story, not the actual story of a person of color. And for me, I just feel like Hollywood will always continue to deem white stories as worth telling because there's always been a freedom with white people, no matter what their background is. They've always had a certain level of freedom to tell their story. Meanwhile, Black people and people of other minorities our stories get told from the lens of a white person. Even though Chanel, you're gonna hate me. I love you though. But Michael and Marie, that movie on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet, but it really gets on my nerves that the writer was white.
I feel that. I'm not even gonna hate it. I feel you on it. So I didn't know that when I watched the movie, so I saw it in a different lens. But it's okay.
I was like, how are y'all talking about race and being a black writer? But a white dude wrote it. But I'm gonna leave it up there and let someone else speak for sure.
Yeah, I think first of all, you came up with some passion that I liked. I'm like, it made me go and research some of the names that you were dropping. Of course, everyone knows, the Zoe Saldana, right? But I didn't think of like Eurocentric features, like you said. And I went to go like look up pictures of the people he was. I'm like, what? Oh snap! That is like a technique that they use to like replicate what they want to portray, what they want to portray. And yeah, I just something that came to mind was like, I think they obviously, we know it's a system why they created it and things like that. But you called them out. You called them out. So I know Hollywood might be a thing in your future and everything, but you definitely called them out on a lot of things. And I think if they do want to move forward, they're gonna have to take some of that truth in and understand like these are the things that we need as a people in order to move forward if we really want to be together. So I was inspired by it.
Tate, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I don't got nothing that hasn't been said. And more gonna be more around the lines of like what Chanel said about the stereotypical black woman that's being played, like a name like Tasha Smith in like Tyler Perry movies. Like she's always an aggressive mother that so there's more lines of what Chanel said. It's just a lot of a lot of stereotypical roles are just given to black women and all. And like what Chanel most said, like.
This question that I'm about to ask next, I feel like it definitely is one that pertains to me, Mariah, because sadly, this is what we decided to study as a career. But do you think it's the job of fair complexion people of color to speak up when they see injustices like this being done? Because, for example, like I said in the episode, Zendaya makes it an effort of hers to speak up because she knows that she wouldn't have gotten the roles and the opportunities that she's gotten if not that she had Eurocentric features. She's mixed. And however, not everyone does that. Some people are real quiet. Some people are, attributing their fame and their level of notoriety to their talent, which is not to take away from them, but there's still a level of, acceptance that you have to know that, like, you got this role because you're fair skin. Like, prime example, Amanda from The Hate You Give. Talented sister. Talented. But the original character was meant to be dark skinned. I'm like, how do you completely... And Hollywood did such a terrible job at it, too. It's like, you took the lead and made her dark skinned. However, you kept everyone else around her dark skinned. You kept her parents dark skinned, her mother dark skinned, her little brother dark skinned. But the girl that was meant to be the voice of change, that was meant to be the symbol of Black female strength and standing up in the face of danger, you made her a person with Eurocentric features. And everyone thought that was normal. I mean, I look at the book today and I'm like, what happened to the original plot of the story? Where'd it go? So for me, that's my question. Like, do you think that it is the job of fair complexion people of color to speak up and address this issue?
Yeah, I think phrase, is it their job? I toe a very thin line because I definitely think that people should use their platform to speak up against these things. But it starts to get to a place of the term I'm going to use is like a white savior complex, even though they're not white, they're lighter. So I guess light savior complex, if you will. And I don't want to give into the fact that the only way that change is going to happen is if my lighter skinned co-star is saying something on my behalf. I want to be comfortable enough in a position where I don't think I'm going to lose my job. I don't think that people are going to turn against me when I speak my truth and when I speak up on the injustices that are happening directly to me. But I think I think the field that we're in and Hollywood and Broadway, we walk a fine line, because if we speak up or speak at someone in a wrong way, defending ourselves, we lose our jobs, we lose opportunities, we get blacklisted. And I think that's a problem all in itself. So I guess in that frame, yes, use your platform and speak up for us, but also everybody wake up and realize that the injustices that are happening to us, we deserve to speak out on and not be penalized for it.
Yeah. I know that a lot of you guys are not in the same, I guess, career path as Mariah and I, but what do you guys think about that question? Do you think people who are fairer should speak up?
I agree with Mariah. I think that it's important to not have that all be on like the lighter skinned people, because I 100% understand, like, you need your bag, you need your money, so you need to have roles, but it doesn't mean that you need to perpetuate like the white people's idea of what it is, because at the end of the day you are Black and you're not seen as a white person. They're just doing that so that they can meet some sort of quota, or like they won't get in trouble, no backlash. Okay, look, I put a brown person, the Black people watch the movie so they can put more money in my pocket. And look, I'm telling a Black person story. Like you said, that person on the cover was a dark-skinned girl, supposed to be a dark-skinned girl. Yes, she did a phenomenal job, but the story, even, I don't know if you guys read the book, but even while like her describing her complexion and all this stuff, all that's written in the book, for a purpose and to tell the story, of a struggle of what that girl, she is lighter like some of her friends. So even though she had white friends, she was lighter. So yes, of course she's still going to go through that struggle, but she was lighter, and you're not going to go through that same struggle as someone who is dark skinned and going to that school, because the complexion difference is completely different. So the story, like you said, would have hit harder if those details were there. So I think that it is important for them to speak out, like Zendaya or all these other actresses and actors that would be like, okay, I'm not taking that role because that's either not my place, or, you know, this is specifically written for this or whatever, and take that step back. And then also for casting directors and everyone else to be like, hey, someone feels uncomfortable or whatever, for people to speak out about the injustices that are happening in the industry.
Yeah. Do the guys want to add anything, or should I ask another question?
Again, I think I agree, only in the sense of the fact that if they're the ones that are getting the roles, people who are darker aren't even having the opportunity to speak on some of the problems that's going on in the industry. So I do feel like it's a very important job for the Zendayas to speak up on behalf. Also just to help our sisters enjoy and get into other better places. And also there are, in the sense of that, yes, they are not looked as white people, like Chanel just said. They are still people of color, but their voices are still being heard by white viewers and people that are casting them. So I think it's very important for them to be able to speak it into their ears, at least to get some notoriety and get some attention around the issues that are taking place in our media. So I think it's definitely crucial for them. I'm not saying they have to be the forefronts, they have to be the only ones speaking, but I definitely think they have a crucial role in playing and ultimately changing what that needs to be changed.
Yeah. Do you guys think that Hollywood's colorism is starting to cause an erasure of darker skinned stories? Because just like Chanel said, there's a reason why in certain books and in certain works of literature, the story is written for a person who is a darker complexion, because there's a certain struggle that people who are lighter will not experience because they are lighter and they have Eurocentric features. So do you think that Hollywood's, perpetuation of colorism, no matter the racial background that you're from, Indian, Black, like no matter your background, do you think that it is now causing an erasure of darker skinned stories and acknowledgement of the difficulties that people who are darker face?
I would say, yeah. Like you said in the video, I think the stories and the actual struggles are being whitewashed. And I think that they're being like, oh, okay, this is just a simple little thing. It's not that bad. And that's how it's being depicted in Hollywood versus like the actual truth. And it's like, okay, well, we can at least take this because at least our story is being acknowledged. But the story is not being told. So it's actually not being acknowledged. And it's not being told in the right way. It's being told, like you said, in the lens of a white person. So I think that it's being erased, is being like watered down. Like
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter, and it's just like, okay, here, so y'all can shut up, kind of thing. I think that's what Hollywood is doing here. Just shut up.
Yeah.
I have a question, Moyo.
Mm-hmm.
You familiar with Tyler? You guys mentioned Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
Is Tyler Perry's response to opening up his own studio a response to Hollywood's whitewashing with colorism and things like that?
Funny enough, funny enough about Tyler Perry. He said in an interview that like the reason he decided to kind of push to create his own work and have his own studio
Mm-hmm.
was mainly
Yeah.
because he wanted to tell Black stories his own way. He didn't want he didn't want an erasure of, I guess, of the stories that he felt were passionate and true to the issues that Black women face in their lives on a daily day basis. Because I don't know how much people really follow Tyler Perry, but he has a show on OWN called Girlfriends. Not Girlfriends, Sisters, and it's has
Sisters.
a sisters, yeah. It has a
Sisters, yeah.
similar plot to like Girlfriends that
Girlfriends, yeah.
Mara Akil, I think that's her last name, created back in like the early 2000s. But the great thing about that show, Sisters, is that it really like that was the first time for me that I saw a wide range of females who are dark skinned but dealt with issues that people like dark skinned women deal on a daily basis of love. They talk about love. They talk about feeling the need to always be strong. They talk about the fact that they address the issues of always having a Black woman feel like she has to bear it all for the man. And when is the man going to bear it all for her? And these are things that like, you don't see it in regular day media. You don't see it being spoken about every day, but it's issues that needs to be spoken about. And so even though people got their issues with Tyler Perry, not gonna hold you, they do. But that is one of his main reasons of creating his own production company and his own studio, because he did not want the influence of a white person to come and like water down what he wanted to do. But yeah, to answer that question.
Okay, so you agree with his response to that?
I agree with with some
Tyler
of his
Perry?
works. The thing for me is that I personally want to work with Tyler Perry. Like, if you see this one day,
Right, that's what I'm
like,
me too.
Exactly. Like, I one day want to work for him because I just feel like even we don't have enough people doing what he does. Sincerely, we don't. Like, I don't. It hurts me and pisses me off sometimes to know that like I will eventually still have to work for a white person who can never understand the story I'm trying to tell. The things that you may say may seem all right to you, but you telling me, oh, why don't we just cast Zendaya in the story? It's like, no, let's cast Coco Jones. Let's cast someone who is still beautiful and still a dark-skinned woman and make her have a love interest that isn't abusive, that doesn't require her to be strong all the time, that doesn't require her to take care of her family. Like, we shouldn't only have Medea type of characters. We should be able to have, like, beautiful, like, bro, Zoe Saldana got to play Nina Simone. How that happened, how that conversation came about, I don't know. Because you had to still put a prosthetic nose on this woman so she could look like an African American woman. Meanwhile, Zoe Saldana has like what I think she has European descent in her. Like, she looks very Eurocentric, but that's Hollywood. But even though people disagree with Tyler Perry in some of his earlier works and how he's portrayed Black women, I just feel like he is doing something, man. So many Black actors till this day attribute their success to him. He opened the door that a lot of dark-skinned female actors we wouldn't get. We wouldn't have a show like Sisters. I wouldn't be able to tune it on, even though sometimes the characters get me on my damn nerves. But I wouldn't be able to relate to their story. I wouldn't be able to laugh and cry with them and just feel like a woman. So it's like, regardless of the issues that Tyler Perry may have created or whatever, the truth is he always said it that like the stories he tells are stories he's seen from his mom and her friends. He always says like every single female character derived from the women that were around him. He never made anything up. So for me, Tyler, hi, my email. Comment down below. I'm on IMDb. Like, come on, cast me. But yeah, I don't know if anyone else feels any different about Tyler Perry.
No, I'm glad that you said what you said. I don't have any problems with Tyler Perry, but his earlier works definitely rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, because on one hand, yes, we're being, put in the spotlight, like our stories are being told, but on the other hand, it almost felt like we were being made fun of in order for us to get that success. So again, towing a very, very, very thin line. It's like, do I get success and still be made fun of while I'm being successful? Like, is that okay with my psyche? Is that okay with me as a human? Like, you know what I mean? But I do think that as the years have progressed, his work now, I haven't watched a lot of his most recent work. I think the last few shows that I watched, If Loving You Is Wrong, things of that nature, were a little interesting. So I left those, not because of like who's being portrayed or anything. It's just like, anyways, I just felt my way about that. But to hear you talk about Sisters like this makes me want to go watch it and fall in love with a show that might portray me as a normal Black human living my normal Black human life, and having the difficulties as a Black woman be portrayed in an honest truth and not through the white gaze. Which, like, for you, Moyo, and I don't know if you all saw Ragtime when we did it. Granted, we don't live in the early 1900s anymore. And I love Ragtime. I had the pleasure of doing it 3 times. But the story is so, hear me, exhausting. It's written by white people, right? And while it's not false, it's not all the way true. I think it's, like you said, Chanel, it's whitewashed to meet the white gaze, to make it a little bit more palatable for audiences. Because if the truth was told about slavery in that story, I don't think anybody would want to show up to it. I don't think tickets would sell. I don't think it would be something that people would want to come to and spend their money on. And that's what I mean. Like, are we going to tell our truths in its entirety? Or are we going to tell the truth that makes people happy or makes them okay with, but you know what I mean? Like, that's something I'm still trying to figure out now as a new professional actor. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, with this whole conversation, I just feel like we just need more people. We just need more people to just support each other and create more and just push real stories, because I refuse to play someone's mother. I refuse to play the best friend who's being like the strong. We know the strong Black woman trope. We know it. We've seen it 10,000 times. Watch any Black movie. Boom, a strong Black woman. I just feel like dark-skinned women, we deserve the opportunity to just be human. I don't know why that's so hard for Hollywood to understand, but we deserve a chance to just be human. I shouldn't have to rely on Storm Reed or Zendaya to like kind of hold the torch for us and speak about these sort of things. But yeah. Let me see if I have any more questions. I don't think I do. Okay. Yeah. We've basically answered most of the questions that I've had. So we're just gonna do quick closing remarks. It's kind of been a shorter live than usual, but I feel like we said everything that we needed to say. Low key, high key. Anyone have any closing remarks? Like, this is your time to say your social media handles, your projects, anything you want, babes. Just let it all out.
I just want to say specifically thank you for talking about the history of colorism, because it's something that, colorism people talk about it, but they don't know how far back it dates. Yeah. Like, we're talking like slavery, like brown paper bag tests and stuff. Like, no one talks about that stuff, and it's real, and it's been around for a long time. So thank you for your honest truth and bringing it to the platform. So I guess my remarks again, Mariah Lyttle. My Instagram is Mariah Lyttle. My YouTube is also Mariah Lyttle. I'm very, very plain. You can't literally, I'm there. Like, if you type in my name, I will be there. And yeah, just follow me on there to keep up with any updates. I'm not active right now, but I will be in a month. So
amazing. That's the show, guys. I'll catch you guys next week when I talk about white women. Bye.